And I'm going to do something I haven't done before. So Pam, we're going live on Facebook, remember?
We are.
Remember we were challenged with this?
You have the button?
I have the button. I pushed it. Okay, so it says live on Facebook, share on your timeline. No, not on my timeline. We're going to a group and we are going to Bonfire Inner Circle. So if you guys are not yet part of the Bonfire Inner Circle, you'd want to be, because it's where we hang out in between coaching sessions, in between our calls like today, the Career Professionals call. And we have Bonfire Connect at the end of the month on the last Tuesday of every month, unless it happens to fall on Christmas or New Year's or something like that. Oh, wow, they're asking me really complicated questions. Okay, so this is the Bonfire Career Professionals call. And today, what we are doing is we are talking about our own personal brand and how do we elevate our own personal brand within our companies and organizations and get people to understand what a great rock star we truly are. So I did add a title. Oh, there's the title. So increasing your brand. Go live. Let's see. Cross fingers. Zoom is now connecting to Facebook Live. Cool. Yay. I'm just going to let it do that stuff and come back over to you guys. This is where the party is. Hi, Coach Kara. Hi, Joe. Welcome. One of our newest clients. Dude, you've got your kickoff today with Coach Hannah. It's going to be a blast. I'm so glad you said yes and you joined us. Some of the other people here could tell you you're on a whirlwind path to the best job you've ever had, and everything that you're looking for, it's about to find you. Guaranteed, guaranteed. And we've got Coach Michael McFadden here. We've got Scott Davis. Scott, I just did your LinkedIn audit. I'm sure you got that video, so watch it if it's confusing because I go fast. Did you get to see any of it, Scott?
I just logged into the page. I haven't got a chance to actually look through it.
No problem.
I do have it.
Yay. So that's our first step in getting your LinkedIn to be an amazing resource for you. And we've got Dewey Guthrie, who's signing on to be a Bonfire coach. That is like behind the scenes, just revealed here. Yay, Dewey. You want to say?
Yay, Dewey.
You want to give a shout out, Dewey, and undo your mic?
Oh, I was being a mime.
Yeah, you were being a mime.
Yeah.
So,
hi, everyone.
You have a future in coaching with the Bonfire crew here. Awesome. Thank you so much. So let's get started. I have made a nice little presentation. Before I go into the presentation, Pam, is there anything that I've missed? Because I think I left, you gave me a piece of paper. Oh, here's a piece of paper. Look at me, I'm organized. We have some new clients signing on if you're going to be watching this in a recording. So Beth Sellers, woohoo, you've been making so much progress. Joe, we said hi to. Ashley, we love, she's a rock star, moving fast. We can't give her enough. She wants to digest everything we have. Ashley, you're pushing our envelopes over here. It's really great. And Diana is coaching with Hannah, and she's amazing. I love her energy, and seeing you walk into the office and just seeing what all you're doing is great. So woohoo, so many wonderful things going on. Let's do the presentation. And Pam, have I missed anything that I was supposed to say?
I don't think so. I did want to pass along, Coach Hannah said hello to everyone and that she's sorry she's missing today. She has a Rotary luncheon today, and she was a greeter. So she had to be there early, and I think she's wrapping up just in time to get back to do the kickoff with Joe at 1:30.
Today, yeah. And that's awesome. That's part of building our brand. And I'm just texting someone, reminding them, is that join groups. And so Hannah's doing that for her own professional brand, is that she's joined Rotary, and that gives us visibility. So let's jump into this. I'm going to hit play. Whenever I hit play, what happens to your screen is I take up all the real estate. If you want to also have like a notepad or something going on the side, all you need to do on your side is hit escape. or minimize. So go up to the upper left, there's going to be a little toggle there, something that you could minimize so you can, I won't be taking up your whole screen. So what we're doing today is we're talking about building your personal brand and why we must build ourselves. So this is specifically for those people that are in careers. You're inside of an organization, a company, even a small company, and you're contributing to their goals, projects, and outcomes. How do we stay consistent with our own want of building our own network and building our own, thank you, Ryan, and building our own credibility while attending to the job and the role and the responsibilities that we have inside of an organization. So that's what this is about today. This can also be utilized for anyone who's also wanting to have a side hustle. If you have a side job or something of that nature, what I'm about to share, you can also apply from an entrepreneurial standpoint. So first we need to ask ourselves, what is our brand? And a brand is something that if you ask these 4 questions for yourself, the outside world or those people that you surround yourself will be able to depend on you for. So what do you want to be known for in your industry, in your role, responsibilities, in your organization? And how do you want to be regarded in that role? Do you want to be the hero? Do you want to be the person that is there at all hours of the day, doing what's necessary, pulling it out, and you're the go-to person when things get hard? Or do you want to have a balanced lifestyle and contribute innovatively and strategically and mindfully to the outcome of projects? I would suggest you do the second one. We don't want to be the person that is, solving all the problems and not getting the appreciation. That gets overwhelming and exhausting. So we want to be that innovator. We want to be that person that thinks outside the box, that provides solutions, and we're going to be getting to that. We also want to be loyal, dedicated, trustworthy. What are those, what we call above the line type emotions and ways to be regarded in your characteristics that you say, I want to promote this as my brand? And then how do you want to be invited to participate? There are growth projects happening all the time in organizations, and the one you work for, the one you're going to work for. And how do we get invited to that table? How do we get invited to that growing edges discussion of the leaders who are saying, well, this is a problem, and how are we going to solve it? I know for myself, when I was in corporate, I noticed this dynamic that I was utilized when they'd already decided the project. They'd already decided what the outcomes are going to be. They'd already decided what the work's going to look like. And I was brought in as an individual contributor on a project. But there was a part inside of me, I wanted to be at that table. I wanted to be the person saying, hey, here's a problem. How can we solve it? And I want to mastermind with the people that are able to command the budgets, because once it's financed, then we have a real project, right? So how do you want to be invited to participate? And I'm going to give you some of the ways that I did that. There were sort of covert operation, Mission Impossible type stuff, but I did it, and it allowed me to elevate my brand pretty rapidly inside of a major oil and gas firm. And where do we individually want to grow? If you're working with Bonfire now, you'll know we have at the very beginning something called skills harvesting. And so knowing what your skills are, that's a starting point. However, where do you want to grow? How do you want to improve yourself? What will be strategic, not only to you and your passion and aliveness and your sense of wonder, but also to your industry? Where is it going? What can you do to keep yourself highly relevant to the conversations that are happening within careers and the industry that you serve, right? So you need to answer these questions for yourself. What is your internal brand inside your company? And you get to define that, not just be given it. And trust me, our cohorts and our peers will definitely give us a brand, because they'll watch us working. We'll participate alongside projects with them. And sometimes we get nicknames. Sometimes we get deemed that guy or that girl for something. But I challenge you to be in command of your brand and start elevating yourself and even speaking of yourself and regarding yourself in a whole new way. So where do we start? Tina Marie, I know you love the LinkedIn profile, and I do, because there's a lot of LinkedIn profiles out there that are not being utilized. It's an amazing resource. And for 99% of us, it's free because we're not on the premier side. However, we're not using it. There's so many strategies and the depth of how you can present yourself inside of LinkedIn that many of us just don't know either how to or take the time to learn to. So I wanted to give you a couple points on what you can do today to set a goal of utilizing your LinkedIn profile. First, update it. Update a good picture out there and you're about, make sure your resume's up there and it's accurate. Go into your skills, and those that are working with a coach will help you with this. Go into your skills and make sure your skills are up to date. Your what we call badassery is actually being represented inside the skill sets that you have checked inside of LinkedIn. Get recommendations. I want you to get the recommendations from the people that you've worked with and the ones that you've worked with that you would give a recommendation. It is the law of circulation. Go give those recommendations and get those recommendations now, because I don't know about you, but the older we get, there's this thing called memory that seems to go. And I know I worked with really cool people back in my 20s and 30s. I'm not that anymore, but I'm like, what was that person's name? So you want to get their recommendations as you can get them right here, right now, and stay active on that. Post and contribute on LinkedIn. In fact, out of all the social media there is, Facebook, Instagram, I don't even know them all, Twitter, LinkedIn, right? Now we have Clubhouse. I use LinkedIn 99% of the time. I have a Facebook following. I don't go out there. People tell me, well, I message you on Facebook. I'm like, don't hang out there. Where do I hang out? I hang out on LinkedIn. I'm a professional. I want to have a circle of professionals. I want to connect with people that are high thinkers and solving problems. Where do you do that? LinkedIn. So find some posting, follow people, follow groups, follow hashtags, and post and contribute. If there is a great conversation going on about something you're interested in or also have been curious about from your own research, give some data in, have conversation. What will happen there is other people that are in that thread will still go find out who you are. And I guarantee the LinkedIn conversations in social media are the ones you want to be part of. This is not the negativity that can go around with social media. This is high thinking, solution minding, very acknowledging and appreciative type conversations. I love it. I love it. Then another way to elevate your LinkedIn profile is to write articles. There is a way to write articles inside of LinkedIn. If you haven't yet done it, it is so cool. And you get to be an expert in your field and contribute with an article. You don't have to wait for the Huffington Post to publish you or something like that. You can write your own article and spread it through the ethers there on LinkedIn. Write white papers to really elevate your brand and your genius and your expertise. Form groups. You can form your own group of something that you're interested in, or you can join groups that are relevant, again, to your industry, where you're headed, your job description. Your company may have its own groups. Join it and be part of the conversation. And ideally, what you're doing here is building a following of like-minded individuals. Why do we do this for our brand? We do this because those are going to be the people that are going to contribute to who you are. They're going to respect you, trust you, want to hear more and know more about you. And we never know where these contributions and how we perform inside of our brand will take us. So trust the process. This leads us to networking. Now, in networking, prior to the pandemic, we considered networking going to meetings, going to networking events, things of that nature. Networking's gone online. And what we want to do is strategically use the connections we currently have and then take those and build out. Looking for those people that are top of their game, that are also posting and contributing, that are also part of the groups that we want to follow, that are also thinking innovatively, and meet them. I challenge myself to meet 3 new people a week on LinkedIn or otherwise. And I want to have a coffee with them, a tea with them, just sit down and spend 15 minutes to get to know who they are, what they're about, what goals do they have currently in this year, and what are they going for? And if there's a way I could connect somebody to help them with their goals, I'll do it. Because whenever we help somebody else get what they want, they will inadvertently help us get what we want. there's a phrase around here in networking, and it's connect up. We want to connect up. This is where I challenge you to be courageous. Step outside those invisible barriers of, well, it's not PC to go meet the directors or senior directors or vice presidents or executives of my firm. Says who? They are people too, and they want to know who you are. Why are you working for their firm? What are you getting out of it? What are you learning? What could we improve? Because leaders, most of them do not have the lead by walking around mentality. And in a virtual world right now, lead by walking around as a management style equals lead by reaching out and having Zooms with all your peers. That takes a lot of time nowadays. So leaders, managers, directors, VPs, and executives are heads down. We could say the 4-letter word busy. They're busy in what they're doing. And so for you to network up, you need to go reach out to them. Send them a message in LinkedIn. Connect with them in, team issue or parties, gatherings, things like that. Whatever's going on, write them private messages. Thank them for their contribution and their leadership. Get to know more about them. Connect up. Make it about them. What do they want? What are their goals? How's it going? And they will be curious about you too. And make sure you're not doing the only talking in the conversation, because a great leader will ask you a lot of questions and want to know about you and have you feel very comfortable in connecting with them. However, this is your chance to get to know about the leadership, and what they will trust in you is that your curiosity is going to open a door for future projects. Join the strategic professional groups. We've talked about that on LinkedIn. They're also out there in a network, and go to the meetings. There are tons of meetings happening. And the management and leadership inside your organization does not always have time to be the representative for your organization at these professional groups. They would love for somebody else to hold their hand up and say, hey, I'll do that. I'll go and represent our company. I'll go take notes and report back. And you take that off their plate, you become a more strategic, more communicative, visible leader inside your firm. I don't care if you are first to hire in the last 6 months. If they understand that you are a resource they can depend on, go for it. Attend these meetings in person for them and report back. Become valuable to your leadership. And definitely acknowledge and appreciate them. Acknowledge who they are, what they're doing, and acknowledge and appreciate your peers as well. And that's what this next slide's about, is acknowledging your team. So I had a gentleman, in fact, let me see, going back here. I'm going to give you a story here, networking up. So the firm that I had joined, this is like 1991. I joined a firm. I was a new hire. I got hired in before Halloween, I remember, because I was invited to a Halloween party. So it was mid-October. And then they had coming up was their holiday party. And it was a big shindig that everybody's like, oh my God, the holiday party is amazing around here. And so I'm like, okay, looking forward to it. And they had rooms available in the hotel where the holiday party was going to take place. And it was in the Ritz-Carlton here in Houston. And so I booked a room at the Ritz-Carlton and got invited into before the holiday party gathering party, and went and attended that. And I sat on a couch and I was sitting with executives. The COO, the CEO, and the CFO were in this room. And who are you going to hang out with? I could have easily hung out with the new hires that just came out of university that I knew. It took courage. I went over and met the upper executive, and there were a couple board members there as well. Met them, understood who they were, what they're about, how long they'd been in the industry, what was their background, why do they love this company, what are their goals and visions for the company. That was the communication I was having before the Christmas party. That one connect up moment led me 2 years after that on what was called the best team. And I was able to contribute strategically to an innovative project of our technical department to become a profit center instead of a cost center. I highly believe that, strongly believe that that meeting that I did, and I stayed in contact with them. It wasn't just a one and done. I stayed in contact with them. I wanted to understand what was going on. I went to the same gyms that they went to. This one guy, Dave, he was a racquetball person. I said, hey, Dave, I love racquetball. We actually shared some games together, beat my butt. But more than that, I stayed in contact with the executives. And from that, strategically, they saw me as a participant and a peer with them as opposed to simply an individual contributor. So connect up. Acknowledging your team. If you are a leader now and you have a team, sometimes we can get into the habit of simply getting the balls, moved down the field, getting the check marks, making sure things are on track, and we forget to go acknowledge our team, taking a pause, a timeout, and go really, with tears in your eyes, appreciate your team. Allow yourself to be seen and felt in that way. Why? What does this do for our personal brand? It builds trust and respect. It builds rapport. Without trust and respect and rapport, who cares if you have a personal brand? We all want to help each other. In order to do that, we must connect at a very real level. We call it here at Bonfire above the line thinking. And if you have not yet seen our above the line, below the line framework, it'll make sense whenever you see it. And above the line is going for your love, connection, growth, and contribution needs, getting those needs met. It will build your personal brand like nothing else. And so we want to make sure that we're always, as much as possible, coming from above the line. The peers that you have now will be the people that you're still connecting with, the ones that you trust, respect, and work along with and have that connection. They will be connected in your network for 10, 20, 30 years. There was a gentleman, I knew who he was from the projects we'd worked on, and I knew where he was in industry, and I'd been watching him in LinkedIn and posting every now and then and communicating with him. And there was a need that came up for one of our clients. His name's Mark. And so I messaged him on LinkedIn, and my nickname back in corporate, when I was in corporate, was T. And so he's like, hey, T, how are you doing? Of course, I'll help you. He wouldn't have been so acknowledging and eager to help my client, our client here at Bonfire, with their needs and to look over their resume and do a handshake down the hallway in his organization had he not respected me and trusted the work efforts that we had together whenever we were back in corporate together. So the people that you're building your brand with now are the ones you're going to be connected to for a while. And like we know, it's a small world, so we do not burn any bridges. And I already said earlier that you want to give recommendations to those people that you really appreciate their work efforts with, and make sure that you do that. As you give, you will receive. So your own greatness. And by the way, I'm pausing here. If you have any questions on any of these slides, I do have a Q&A. So make sure you're jotting down what those questions are, and we're going to have some Q&A. If you don't remember your questions just yet, you can use the chat in the Zoom right here and just go ahead and start typing your comments or your questions in. I forgot to say that at the very beginning, but we will have a Q&A session here area. So your own greatness. I'm thinking of one of my clients. His name's Omar, and many of you know who Omar is. And so he is an awesome, awesome project manager. And we helped him pivot from the job he was with a major global player of oil and gas and energy into an innovative new technology alternative fuel company. And he's just absolutely ecstatic. And so while he was at the large oil and gas energy firm, he was doing some really remarkable things. He and his team were just kicking butt in some areas and saving the company tons of money, and then positioning them. In fact, right now, there's a lot of commercials being played for this one company. I'll just say it, it's Shell. So this company is running these commercials on their new platform of all their alternative fuel advancements that they've made. Well, Mr. Omar was part of that, very instrumental. And he's shy. He's like, I don't need to have the recommendation. I mean, the acknowledgements. It's okay. It's okay. He's one of those guys. And so in a big meeting, another individual took credit for his work. And he's like, I couldn't believe it was happening. He's like, that person didn't work on our project. Why was this happening? So he 911'd me. We have 911s here. That was definitely a 911 moment, because his mind was like, I don't know what to do with this. Do I go talk to her? Like, what do I do? So I helped him back off the ledge, more like back out of the place where he was really, boom, like, what are you doing? Defending his turf. And I let him know something. I said, if you're not going to take credit for the greatness that you and your team have built, it leaves an opening for somebody else to take that credit. So we must take the credit of what we're building and what we're contributing to, and we can do it in a very graceful, not egoistic way. And so I wrote down here one of the lines that you could use, right? And there's more, right? So we would work with you on what that is, work with your coach. And if you're having issues like, man, I'm doing some really great things, but I don't know how to position this particular epic story in my career. So contributing to this project has been very rewarding. If you're talking to your senior management, you want to acknowledge with them that you did great things. And, Omar was waiting at some level, which is natural, for the acknowledgement to come to him. That doesn't always happen. We need to also stand in there for our own greatness. And as this example shares also, I've been challenged to grow and I'm grateful for designing blah, blah, blah solution. It's a way to tell the people that will tell your story to upper management, the people that will be instrumental to going to bat for you for promotions and increases, how you see and regard yourself. And on the next slide, you're going to hear that you need to position yourself for that promotion and ask for it. So be a solution provider. There's so many employees or, staff members that can come and present the problem. It's like, oh my God, this isn't working. This didn't work. This failed. This person's having issues. This thing isn't, providing the outcomes that we really need. Yes, there's going to be challenges inside of any organization, any work efforts, any project. However, be the solution provider that comes with a potential 2 to 3 different scenarios that you've already thought through, so that not only are you the person that is bringing light to a particular issue that may be costing money for the company or being a problem for gaining revenue or bottom line impact. You come with a solution, the potential that is ready there for you and for the company. And be willing to push the boundaries, because sometimes our mind, that lower mind, will say, I don't know, they're probably not going to go for that. Or I don't know, that's probably an expensive scenario and I don't think they're going to approve that budget. Or I think they've already tried that and it didn't work before. Whatever we listen to our mind saying that feels like it's a stop, like boom, you hit a wall, push through that, break the rules of your own thinking, and say, but what if we could provide the solution? What if? Because you recognizing a problem, a challenge, a struggle inside of an organization, be it a process or a product or an outcome that the company's not been able to achieve, because it's inside of your mind, you are now a seed holder for solution. So allow yourself the time to think through it and design something. Even if it ends up not being adopted or not being utilized, at least you showed your genius ability to think outside the box. Toss around those what if scenarios. And you get to ask for the strategic projects. And that's how I got invited in on the building the energy store of tomorrow with the firm that I was with, because I asked. I knew that this project was being funded. I knew there was a next level to what was going on. Could I have simply waited in my cubicle and waited for people to come and ask me with my brilliant mind, oh, I wonder what Tina Marie would think about this. Maybe we should go ask her. No, that doesn't happen. The only people that provide the solution and allow the innovation are the ones that are at the table. Rarely will you get invited. You have to invite yourself. So get to the meetings, get to the strategic conversations, create the strategic conversations. And that's why I say get invited to the show, get invited to the table. Another way you can increase your brand and be part of strategic projects, to be regarded, to be invited to the table, is to do something really outside the norm for corporate professionals, and that is write a book. Write a book about something that is strategic to the innovation or the industry and where it's headed. Put your name out there. on the cover of a book, start a podcast. Omar did. Boy, was he scared about that. In fact, if you want to find his podcast, go to theomarproject.com. He was so scared. He knew that that was going to be a pivotal change in his direction, and he knew he had a lot to contribute to project managers. Yet, that walk the party line guy that was inside of him said, what are they going to say? Are they going to talk about me? Are they not going to like me anymore? And so I gradually steered him in that direction with enough what ifs, and he started his own podcast. Man, was he nervous. And so then I challenged him way above, above the line. I said, go interview the project managers inside your company. He said, then they'll really know. I was hoping they didn't know I was doing this. I said, no, go for it. Go for the biggest, baddest project managers you know inside of Shell. Get them on your show. And he did. So he burst through all the pain of the, oh my God, what are they going to say? Are they going to fire me? And the truth is he was leaving. But more than that, now he's extremely well respected because those peers that he worked alongside said, you're really doing some great things here. They respect him even more. Take the head of an initiative that you know needs to be solved. Don't ask for permission. You can ask for forgiveness later. Don't need to ask for permission. Simply go for it. So this is where I'm going to toss it back to you guys. And I'm going to hit escape on my PowerPoint. And I'm going to ask you if you have any questions, contributions. If you've done this, if you design your own personal brand inside your corporation, inside your organization, you fought the good fight to make yourself be, have yourself be seen and understood and valued at a different level, go ahead and share. Love to hear from you. Let me see my last slide, just make sure I'm not missing something, is a thank you. If you know anybody who's looking for a discovery session, wants to work with a great coaching firm, we are a firm. We have, I think we're up to 11 now, coaches here that have great expertise and they bring so much to the table and they are trained in the methods. And that's what really has us stand apart. The methodologies, the methods, the framework, and the tools that we use at Bonfire help each one of our clients make advancements far beyond what they would do with other coaching practices. So back to the Q&A. I'm going to stop share and I want to hear from you guys. What questions do you have about building your own brand? What experience do you have in building your own brand? Let's have an open discussion. And if you came to the talk today for career professionals with something else that's on your heart or mind, we're totally open to that too. So who would love to share? Or who has Q&A? Nobody used the chat. Those that have been to these before know that I call on people. Yes, Kara.
I mean, I don't know that it's a question. I just think it's simply a reinforcement of the importance of each one of these items that you went over. I can go back and check off each one of them, how it's had a great impact on me in being able to succeed. So it's not a question, it's just thanks for the reinforcement, but I can attest to each one of these as being a step towards success.
Cool. Thank you so much, Coach Kara. Anyone else? Yes, Michael. Coach Michael McFadden from Colorado Springs.
So I had an experience. I was actually working for the Missile Defense Agency, and I was doing my routine job over a couple years. And I thought, I really want to do something that's innovative. It's a very innovative organization. And I went to my boss and said, hey, are there any projects I can get involved in? And he's like, well, let me think about that. I'll get back to you. And sure enough, a couple weeks later, he came back and said, we have an IRAD project, which is an Innovation, Research, and Design project. And he said, I'd like you to head it up. And I didn't realize how big of a deal it was, but I said, yeah, I'll do it. And they pulled me back into the company corporately, and we were actually going after a $7 billion recompete. So just saying, hey, what can I do? How can I add value? What's another project I can get involved in? I wasn't actually asking for a promotion or anything like that. There was an opportunity and I stepped into it, and we had a lot of really great success.
Are you still connected with anyone that you remember working with on that project?
Yeah, I'm still connected with people, yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. How old were you whenever you did that? Just wondering. Or how young?
Early 40s, like 41, I think.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. Thank you so much, Michael. So that is an example of following the energy, honestly, because I know Michael, he's an energy dude. He's like energy rich life and living is what he's all about. Whenever we have that curiosity, like, I wonder if, or you hear something going on and it has an attraction to you, that is totally an invitation to go follow that energy and just have a courageous conversation. It'll definitely open doors. Thank you, Michael. Who else would love to share? Yes, Dewey.
Well, I had an experience where, and this was last year, in fact, a manager left,
Mm-hmm.
and the director was looking for a replacement, and this manager was in the UK, and they wanted the manager to be in the UK. And so I just stepped in and did what the manager that left was doing, except for the HR piece, which, that I couldn't do that, but that was fine. I didn't really care about that, but I stepped in and helped the director out, and the director was very grateful for that.
Mm-hmm.
And even said, you don't have to do this. And I was like, somebody's got to do it, so, but it did, I did get a change in job title, but I mean, it was still, they did get a manager in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
And I fill in for the manager when the manager isn't in doing certain tasks. So it was good experience.
Mm-hmm. And I know you've been with the firm even through the pandemic. They've been very gracious and kept you even through some downturns. Do you think that act that you did at that time of, that was generosity, and that was awareness, that was mindfulness, that was, definitely what we call above the line. Do you think that helped you in any way to stay part of the team through the pandemic?
It may have. They were looking for another person on our team, and because of the downturn in the pandemic, they were actually talking with someone in the UK. They canceled it. And so possibly maybe they were planning to replace me with someone in the UK, and I ended up staying. So who knows?
We never know, right?
Yeah.
We trust that the good that we do today helps the good that is in the future as well.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Awesome. Welcome, Beth. I was on my PowerPoint. I didn't get to say hi to you as you came in. So building our personal brand, does any, just show of hands or write in the chat, are you interested in wanting to have a dedicated effort toward building your own personal brand as a professional? Yes, no, yes. Okay. Kara's like, oh, yes. And so out of what we shared, or what I shared today, what is most, what's sitting with you the most? What are some takeaways and things that, I want to do this? Who would love to share? These things I want to share, I want to do. Who took notes? It's another way to say it. Who took notes? Beth took notes. Was there anything there that stood out most to you, Beth?
Well, years ago, I had written an article that got picked up by my professional organization.
Mm-hmm.
And I really think I could refresh that and use it as a way to promote myself through LinkedIn or otherwise. Mm-hmm. And I just saw a call for proposals for my professional organization.
Yeah.
And so that's how the paper started, was that I first presented it as on a panel. Mm-hmm. So I think I could take both of those and kind of refresh them instead of having to start completely new.
That's awesome. Use that as a springboard.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. That is so cool. And I love you've mentioned a couple other things, is speaking. So taking up the, wearing the hat of being a speaker, contributing to a conference, contributing to breakouts, maybe some professional development within your firm. I know there's another lady at one of our engineering firms that we work with, their executives and their team. And she had seen a problem that was, pretty repeated within a process inside of the company. And she had her own workarounds to make sure that there was organization and accuracy to this process. And instead of just simply saying the process is broken or it doesn't work 100% of the time, she asked her leadership, can I run a workshop and have, an open discussion about this process and become more of a think tank leader? And she did that, and her workarounds became part of the primary process. And now she's a go-to person within her engineering firm for QA, QC. And so, it took courage because she's an introvert, and she's like, I don't know if I want to be in front of people. It's not my typical way of being. And I gave her some courage. You need to go do that. And now she's a very well respected, from what I've heard from the executives, a thought person that they could depend on and trust. We need to take these opportunities. And Beth, you also mentioned a panel, being on panels, and there's plenty professional panels being formed. If not inside your own organization, definitely industry panels. And you can look for those when you join groups inside of LinkedIn. Sometimes they have those call for speakers or call for contributors. Given a topic, push your own courageous self into, hey, I can help. And trust yourself through the process. It doesn't have to be perfect, and you just show up. The energy will lead the way.
Similarly, I offered to lead a book discussion with the women's group at my job.
Yeah.
Anybody can read a book.
Yeah, people can read books, we hope, right? Could you share the title of that book, because it's pretty remarkable.
It's called Know Your Value. It's a book about how women can learn to articulate what they present in order to ask for a job.
Mm-hmm.
The author is Mika Brzezinski. I'm trying to look around if she's sitting right next to me. She's somewhere.
Would you mind typing that into the chat?
Let me figure out how to spell that long name, but I will.
Yeah, Brzezinski. Awesome. Yes, Pam? Pam looks like she's going to say something. You can always tell.
Well, I was just going to go get the name of the person of the book who wrote the book.
Thank you. Thank you for your contribution. We're all in this together. Any apprehension to building your personal brand? Any internal, thank you so much, Beth. Any internal hesitance that's coming up that may be getting triggered or poked on that anyone's feeling? It's where you get some really great coaching to help you find some courage. No? I did want to encourage Ashley. I know, Ashley, you're a great writer, and this is a profession that you're in. The world needs you more now than ever. We're coming out of a culture that shifted away from the arts in school, and there's a lot of our learning, our creative brain that is stimulated through the growth of our young years in the arts. And so what it has been, thank you, Pam, what it has resulted in is a lack of confidence in our creative side. And there's so many people and professionals that they know they want to be more creative, and creativity takes courage. It takes confidence. It takes the willing to be vulnerable and out there and not be readily accepted, because like Steve Jobs said, we're going to be the crazy ones, right? So that innovative edge requires the deepening and the trust of our own creativity. It's not going to look perfect. It's not going to look all with bows and ribbons and well presented. Oftentimes, whenever we push the envelope of our own personal brand and get courageous to express ourselves, it's going to feel very scary. And it's okay to do that. The creative brain needs places to play and to have expression. And as professionals, if we simply stay within the realm of our job description and our roles and responsibilities, yes, we'll play it safe. Yes, we'll probably get a great review. However, our leadership wants more of us. And if you are the leader of the organization, if you are at the helm or find yourself there, you definitely need to challenge yourself to be creative. Something I do on a regular basis, and it's good for disrupting things, is I say, am I doing the best I can do at what we're doing now? Is there another way? Is there either more efficient, more innovative? Am I doing the best we can? And I'm willing to undo everything we have to get to that next level. As professionals, we must also challenge ourselves to not just walk the party line and do everything that's making things happy and safe, and, have that, not have a target on our face about getting canned. And we're moving out of a season of professional, careers where there's a lot of layoffs, and there's probably going to be more layoffs. However, our management, our organization needs the best us there is. And the best us needs to first regard our brand. Who am I? What do I bring to the table? What do I want to bring to the table? How am I going to grow? How can I self-innovate? And how can I bring that version of myself to the forefront and communicate that to the people I work with and for, so that you are very valuable and relevant to the conversations that have probably not even been had yet. And Lucas, I know you're working with a very innovative industry. So is any of this hitting home for you and how you see your organization? You've been, 4 weeks into the new company?
Yeah, I really think the connecting up part is big, because as our industry grows in more markets, there's a department that's up and coming for logistics. And even though that's the industry that I was specific looking to move away from in my job search, it's still kind of intriguing how they're managing that. And they've started bouncing some things off me with my knowledge of how general goods are transported so they can carry it into what we're doing.
That's awesome. Do you want to share with everybody who you're working for?
Yeah, it's for a company called LeafLink. They are in the cannabis industry. And even though I'm located in Texas, where it's not legalized really for much medical use or adult use yet, it is, and we're in 27 markets across the US and Canada where it is legalized for either medical or adult use. And we provide a marketplace that connects the growers and suppliers with the retail locations.
There you go. And it's coming to a porch near you. I know, I saw this LinkedIn video about personal drones. I don't know if you guys saw that one. The guy's brave. I'm probably not that brave, but if I would have built my own drone, maybe I would trust it. It's the engineering of it, right? So it has all these rotors and it's a personal drone. It's like your own little personal helicopter. And I was thinking, if we are going to transport ourselves with drones, I guarantee our groceries and everything else are going to end up on our porch someday with a drone having delivered it. So just don't put any trees near your front porch. Just get whacked. Any other questions, professional or wins? Any wins you want to also share of things that you'd love to celebrate? Yes, Ashley.
Hi. I can share, I guess, a takeaway from this call, because I know it's more geared for people who already have the job, and I don't have the job yet. I'm a job seeker, but I think this call is really good for showing us the kind of mindset that job seekers should have before they even get the job in the first place. Because I think new hires tend to have this, I guess, mindset of, well, let me not stir the pot. Let me not draw any attention to myself. I just got here. I don't want to make a mess of things. But, the skills that we learned here help us to kind of look beyond the job description when we're seeking for the job and come in with the attitude of, I'm going to be an exemplary figure, an employee that's like top notch, and you haven't even hired me yet.
Yeah. Woo. I love it. You're the rock star, right?
I don't know about that.
Yes, I am a rock star.
Yes.
Yes, she is. I know. We must own our greatness. We must own our genius. And it's so easy to shy away from what we can do, what we will do, what we have done, and what we are committed to. It's easy to play small in a world where other people don't want you to be, as we call, the tall poppy. I invite you to be the tall poppy. Have the courage, because there's so much wonder and aliveness inside of each one of us that drives us for greatness. why not share that greatness with other people? And I guarantee as you feel more confident and aligned and centered in your being and who you are, then you will attract in your circle those people that are also of that nature. Not from an egotistical place, from a place that let's contribute together. Let's do something of greatness together. And it takes a lot of great players to make greatness happen in our world. And if we're shy about our greatness, that doesn't serve anybody. That's what this call was about today, increasing your personal brand. I request that you bring any of your takeaways from this to your coach. If you say, I want to work on this, this, and this, I want you to challenge me to also do this, this, and this. And if you had a little curiosity about, I wonder if that would be possible for me, just simply have that sounding board discussion with your coach. And you can even bring those to this type of a forum for our Career Professionals call every second Tuesday at noon, or to the Bonfire Connect, which happens at the last Tuesday at 7 p.m. And that is for all of our coaching clients, whether they're career professionals, business owners, executives, and relationship coaching, any other facet of our coaching programs. So do mark your calendar and attend that. Now, Ashley's already given us a great segue. We love to end with what are some takeaways that you're taking with you today that you're going to say, I'm going to think in a new way, or I'm going to do this because this was instrumental to my future. And I will be calling on you. It's a great thing. Just say one thing. And it could just simply be that you were part of a great cohort moving in the same direction. So we're going to first, I'm going to call on Diana and then to Joe. So Diana first and then Joe, and then yes. Beth, were you doing this for a reason? Oh, okay, got it. I was like, salute me. No.
I don't have any curtains in my windows yet.
No problem. We're going to go Diana, then Joe, and then Beth. Diana, what's the takeaway for you today, dear?
So the takeaway is for me to try to challenge myself to meet new people, at least give myself a goal for the week. I don't think I have established that, and I just kind of go with the flow, especially when I'm communicating on LinkedIn. So I think it would be good to kind of give myself a goal on how many people I should reach out to a week.
Awesome. Do that. It's fun because once we have a goal, then we can meet it, and then we get to have another check mark.
Right.
And I know you love check marks. Yay. Joe, and then Beth, and then Michael.
Hi, everyone. A takeaway from me is just to be more courageous. I think in my last career, I just kind of waited for the opportunities to come to me towards the end. And I've realized that I probably should have been asking for more challenging assignments. So
yay.
Be courageous.
Woohoo. Courageous Joe. Beth, and then Michael, and then Pam.
I like to find other people who are posting about what I want to post about in order to, and find people to connect instead of just going through who are my second tier connections in LinkedIn. Go farther afield to the people who are already thought leaders because they will want to talk to me. Why not?
Totally. And then you have really great conversations as opposed to waiting for the boring ones, which is fun. Cool. Michael, Pam, and then Ashley will give us another takeaway.
Yeah, I love the discussion around creativity, that our leadership wants contribution and they want us to be our best self. And to ask that question, am I doing the best I can? And especially it was cool where you mentioned that it's, undo what we've done to get to another level. And I think of Tiger Woods, who was the top of his game. He's like, I'm going to change my golf swing. Like, really? I mean, perfect example of exactly that, right? And we can do that too.
And it takes a lot of courage to completely be willing to undo where you are, especially if you're already successful. If you're successful and you're going, I got it going on, sometimes the best thing we can do is disrupt the system, because that's going to take us to a new level we've never reached before. And it takes that not knowing and that instability and that confusion and that discomfort to have us make it. And either we're going to create our own disruption, our own instability, or the universe will. So I like to be at the helm of my disruption and a partner in that, as opposed to wait for it to happen to me. Fair enough? Pam, Ashley, and then Lucas.
Okay. I have to admit I'm not as active on LinkedIn as I would like to be or should be. So I am going to be more active and making connections and posting more on LinkedIn.
Yay. Awesome, Pam. Ashley, Lucas, and then Dewey.
Hi again.
Hi again.
I guess my second takeaway would be, since I have to, I'm working with Kara and I have to do some work on my resume and my cover letter, I'm going to be thinking a lot about the questions. What do you want to be known for, and where do you want to grow? And kind of think about those as I'm fixing those documents.
I love it. And again, copywriting is needed right now. There's plenty companies that I know that are hiring awesome copywriters. And I'm just going to say, you can bank right now, like people need who you are and what your skills are. Lucas, Dewey, and then Scott, and then Kara. Lucas.
Yeah. Being visible within your company and doing the up networking, because I'm already getting involved with customer outreaches and creating marketing materials and special projects that are outside of my normal responsibility scope, but it's getting me involved with other departments and kind of being seen organization wide as a resource.
Yeah. And I've already future projected, you know that I called it, that you're an executive CEO. Boom. You've got it going on, Mr. Lucas. Congratulations. Dewey, Scott, and then Kara.
Well, when you're talking about, I guess, LinkedIn specifically, and someone like myself who is currently working in a corporation, but will eventually transition out of that world. You have to be careful what you post in LinkedIn, because I'm connected to the CFO and some other people in there, and I know that there have been cases where they have limited what people post in there, even though they knew that was not company related, but you just need to be aware of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have seen where companies want to own your LinkedIn profile, meaning they want to be the ones that are contributing on your LinkedIn profile instead of you. If that does come up and it's something that you want to have a discussion with your coach about, please do, because there's certain things that we can do to balance that conversation, because you do want to be able to own your own branding, right? Then Scott, and then Kara. Thanks, Dewey.
So that's an interesting point that Dewey just made. It kind of ties into what I was about to talk about. So my company actually just started an initiative for a new service, and the presentation kind of got me thinking about how I could use that. I'm actually leading some of the technical development for that new service. So if I could write a white paper or some type of paper that I could put on my LinkedIn, but obviously I'd have to work with my company and make sure that was an acceptable post before I shared too many details of what we're working on. But I'd like to, as we're working on that new project, that new service, figure out how I can use that a bit on my LinkedIn, potentially write that white paper or something along those lines.
Awesome. Yeah, that is so cool. Love that you contributed that. And Miss Kara, closing us up, what are takeaways for you?
Can I just ditto everything everybody said? I mean, very much so about the LinkedIn and how networking has changed and the importance of being more active on LinkedIn. So definitely, clearly, that's a takeaway to, light a fire under me to get back on there and be a little bit more active than I have been since I was out of the country. But I think the main thing, sorry, I'm rambling. The main thing that I'm walking away with, though, is what you said is, what is the innovative edge of your brand? It's not just your brand, but what is the innovative edge? And I love that verbiage. So,
awesome.
In here.
Perfect. Well, thank you everybody for spending your time here today on the Bonfire Career Professionals call. This recording will be sent out so that you can have it for replay, or if you'd love to, you can share it with your friends or cohorts who are also looking to increase their own personal brand and effectiveness. And we will see you in your coaching sessions and definitely in the Bonfire Connect at the end of the month. Have a great day. Bye.